Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Victoria police have arrested 4 suspects accused of a vehicle burglary.
A spillage near Nordheim has several local residents on edge.
And the suspect in the New Mexico fatal shooting now identified.
We had another round of afternoon thunder showers. They're still rolling around the area. It's heavy right now between Nixon and Gonzales. We're looking at our live picture in the Cuero area. You can see the little raindrops still falling. Rainfall totals have not been, ridiculously bad. So far so good. I don't think we're going to see any significant flooding. This is all going to die down now that the sun's going down. And what about tomorrow? All that coming up in a moment.
And the St. Joseph Lady Flyers fall in the state semifinal game, but we have some highlights in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
Around 1:25 a.m. today, Victoria police officers were at a home 500 block of Waterford to investigate a vehicle burglary. A white Dodge Durango took off from the scene. A short time later, the vehicle was found in the 200 block of Eagle Creek. Police tried to pull over the vehicle and say 3 people ran off and 2 stayed in the vehicle. Police say they found a stolen handgun and a purse inside the vehicle. Authorities searched the area and detained 1 juvenile. 3 adults were arrested. One of the suspects, 18-year-old Eric Mundine, faces 3 charges of burglary of a vehicle, theft of a firearm, and engaging in organized criminal activity.
The other suspect, 17-year-old Mario Salinas, he also faces 3 charges. He's charged with burglary of a vehicle, theft of a firearm, and engaging in organized criminal activity. 19-year-old Nathaniel Escobedo faces 7 charges. He's charged with burglary of a vehicle, theft of a firearm, evading arrest or detention, and engaging in organized criminal activity. Nathaniel is also charged with not having a driver's license, failing to appear, driving without a seatbelt, all of which are warrants.
The last suspect detained, a 16-year-old juvenile who faces 4 charges. He's charged with burglary of a vehicle, theft of a firearm, evading arrest or detention, and engaging in organized criminal activity. The Texas Railroad Commission is looking into an incident in DeWitt County near Nordheim on Hahn Road.
25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick has more about the flooding and possible waste spill. Adarius.
Thank y'all. That's right. Some members of the community are afraid that water may be contaminated. The rain pounded that area over the weekend. The flooding made its way to the street and concerns started to rise. The issue was also reported to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, but the Railroad Commission had jurisdiction over the operation of a disposal site in that area. One concerned member of the community had this to say: "I'm not an engineer and I'm not an expert on sites, but it sounds to me like there's potential for harmful things to happen here." That's from Sister Elizabeth, who is monitoring the situation. We have reached out to the disposal site in that area and to the TCEQ. We're waiting to hear back. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. The Victoria Central Appraisal District meeting Wednesday at 4 p.m. On the agenda is the discussion and possible action on the letter of resignation from Chairman Lou Swetlick. The board meets at 2805 North Devero in Suite 300.
This brings us to your Veer poll. Scan that QR code on your screen to participate now. The question is, do you plan to attend the Victoria Central Appraisal District meeting? Yes or no? We take a look at these results and 16% say yes, 84% say no. We want to keep on hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote and we will have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Now, several arrests and seizures of illegal drugs and money happened last week with the Operation Lone Star Task Force in Refugio County. 9 felony charges were filed, 4 arrest warrants were served, along with 6 seizures of illegal drugs and over $112,000 of money seized. 5 area county sheriff's offices, along with Homeland Security investigators, took part in the arrest and seizures. Here are the current river flood warnings posted for the crossroads from the National Weather Service. In Victoria County, a river flood warning in effect until late Friday morning for the Guadalupe River at Victoria.
In Victoria and Calhoun counties, a river flood warning in effect until further notice for the Guadalupe River near Bloomington. In Victoria, Calhoun, and Goliad counties, a river flood warning in effect until early Wednesday afternoon at the San Antonio River at Goliad. In DeWitt County, a river flood warning in effect until Wednesday morning for the Guadalupe near Cuero. In Lavaca and Jackson counties, a river flood warning in effect until late tonight for the Navidad River at Morales. And in Jackson County, a river flood warning in effect until Wednesday afternoon for the Navidad River at Strain Park.
In Jackson County, a river flood warning until early Thursday afternoon for the Lavaca River near Edna. And now I heard that it's time to put away those umbrellas, but don't quote me, quote Mac, because he has more.
Well, I don't think you're going to need it but tomorrow. Now, tonight, that's a whole different matter. We had, of course, as expected, those afternoon thunderstorms had boiled up. We got the sunshine, pardon me, earlier today, and then, of course, that caused the rise in that humidity. We still have some big stuff around the area, but so far, so good in the city. We did have the rain, but nothing spectacular in terms of rainfall. 72 right now. That's pretty comfortable because it's going to be getting close to the 90s because you wanted sunshine. We'll have more on that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. Monday's attack in Farmington, New Mexico left multiple victims dead and wounded and many heartbreaking questions waiting for answers. Police have identified the suspect as an 18-year-old high school student.
But the victims have not yet been identified. Police say the killer appeared to choose his targets at random.
Finding a bullet hole through your daughter's window was just like, my gosh.
More questions than answers a day after a teenage gunman killed 3 people and wounded 6 others in a Farmington, New Mexico neighborhood.
The suspect roamed throughout the neighborhood up to a quarter of a mile. At least 6 houses and 3 cars were shot in the course of the event.
So far, authorities say the suspect was armed with at least 3 guns, including an AR-15 style rifle.
This is the room, went through right there.
It was traumatic to be barricaded in your laundry room with your daughter, who's 1.
Law enforcement arrived 5 minutes after the first call. Within 3 minutes, they exchanged gunfire with the suspect, killing him on the scene.
We are doing the best that we can to piece through and talk with family members of the suspect, piece through what was going on, look at the evidence to see if we can figure out what the motivation was.
Among the injured are a New Mexico State police officer hospitalized in stable condition at last check, and a Farmington officer who was treated and released. The New Mexico shooting marks the 225th mass shooting in the first 20 weeks of the year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
It's not clear what the conditions of the remaining wounded victims are this hour. The police chief called Monday, quote, one of the most difficult and horrific days, unquote, Farmington has ever experienced. Many residents gathered for a candlelight vigil late Monday to remember those killed and hurt.
A 12-year-old boy is accused of killing a restaurant worker in North Texas with an AR-15 style weapon. Saturday night outside of Fort Worth, police were called to a drive-in. They found an employee with several gunshot wounds. He later died. Authorities say the employee got into an argument with a 20-year-old man who was being disorderly in the parking lot. Police say the 12-year-old pulled out the AR-15 style gun and fired at least 6 shots. Both the child and the 20-year-old are charged with murder.
Governor Greg Abbott has signed an electric vehicle tax into law. The law requires electric vehicle owners to pay $400 to register a new electric vehicle. Renewing the registration will cost $200. Now, the fee is intended to ensure that electric vehicle owners pay their fair share toward highway costs, which are usually covered by a 20-cent per gallon gas tax paid by owners of gas-fueled and hybrid vehicles. The new electric vehicle tax goes into effect September 1st.
The Texas House Committee advanced Senate Bill 896, which is a revision of the 2011 Texas Citizens Participation Act, which provides free speech protection. SB 896 could change the way Texas protects you, businesses, and news organizations like 25 News Now from trivial lawsuits. SB 896 allows people who don't like what you're saying about them to sue you. Donis Baggett of the Texas Press Association says SB 896 is harmful to the public and journalists. He is now urging the public to take action.
Specifically the Texas House, because this bill has already passed the Texas Senate. So they need to contact their Texas House members, their state representatives, and ask them to vote against SB 896, because it is a threat not just to your and my rights as reporters, but to the individual's right to express themselves freely.
The House has until May 23rd to put SB 896 on the calendar for a second reading. After that, the Senate would vote on it, and it could end up on the governor's desk.
A lawsuit has been filed a day after the deadly fire at the Marathon Petroleum Refinery in Texas City. KPRC reports the lawsuit is on behalf of a worker who claims he was hospitalized with second and third degree burns as a result of the fire. The fire lasted for several hours and left one employee dead. The lawsuit claims the fire was started when a splitter pump developed a leak and caught fire. Ben Jordan Street between Silverado Trail and Seguin Avenue will reopen to two-way traffic Wednesday after a contractor places temporary striping to guide traffic away from damaged pavement. The damage occurred last Saturday when heavy rainfall caused part of the street to collapse. The area under the street partially hollowed out because of a utility installation project. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. Lawmakers calling for more rules and regulation around artificial intelligence.
Also ahead, more migrants arrived at Denver for processing. Migrants arrived at a Denver processing facility today, many from Venezuela. They wanted help buying bus tickets to other U.S. destinations. The city reported 154 migrant arrivals on Monday. Denver's Mayor Michael Hancock says he is cautiously optimistic the numbers will continue to remain low, but called for more federal resources. Several of the migrants said the journey was long and difficult. They say they were aware of the immigration tensions in the U.S., but they just had to make that journey. Lawmakers have called for more rules and regulations around artificial intelligence, but first they need to understand it.
The CEO behind ChatGPT made his first appearance on Capitol Hill since the viral chatbot started making waves late last year.
The next big thing in technology is already here, and Congress is playing catch up.
Too often, we have seen what happens when technology outpaces regulation.
A Senate Judiciary Subcommittee hearing kicking off Tuesday with those AI-generated remarks. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman testifying amid concerns sparked in part by the technology behind his company's chatbot tool, ChatGPT.
My worst fears are that we cause significant harm to the world.
Artificial intelligence has generated many fears, replacing or disrupting human jobs, spreading misinformation, perpetuating biases, becoming too prolific or powerful.
I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong.
And it's strong skepticism from the public, lawmakers, and even the tech industry.
I can't recall when we've had people representing large corporations come before us and plead with us to regulate them.
Altman said he is mindful of the risks, but there are benefits to pursuing the technology responsibly.
We are working to build tools that one day can help us make new discoveries and address some of humanity's biggest challenges, like climate change and curing cancer.
Lawmakers noting the federal government's failure to regulate social media serving as a wake-up call.
Sensible safeguards are not in opposition to innovation.
As AI's real potential remains uncertain.
What kind of an innovation is it going to be? Is it going to be like the printing press, or is it going to be more like the atom bomb?
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
NASA researchers are about to spend a year on Mars. A simulated Mars, that is, and it's in South Texas. The project will isolate 4 people inside a 17,000 square foot mock Mars base at the Johnson Space Center in Houston for 378 days, roughly the same length as a manned Mars mission. They will have a pre-planned schedule simulating activities and science work. The first simulation will begin in June and we will follow by 2 more. Let's all go to Mars.
Sure. Hey, I wonder if they get to shave or anything like that. I mean, it's going to be amazing. Anyway, folks, good afternoon. 72 degrees right now. We did have some afternoon thunder showers that popped up. We only managed to get up to 87. Well, that's why it triggered the atmosphere and caused those showers. Although at the airport, oh, Don, I have to correct it. We did get rain. 0.01, 1/100th of an inch. You're saying, I got more than that in my shoes, you know? I mean, but that's what the rain gauge gave us. Tomorrow, there's much less chance of any additional thunder showers, but tonight, we still have to deal with some of those rolling around, and we'll take a look at them coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We expected these thunder showers to pop. I mean, they weren't severe like what we had over the weekend, but we did get some downpours here and there. Earlier this afternoon, like about noontime, it all began down in Calhoun County, and Port Lavaca got some big downpours. And of course, then with the afternoon sea breeze, they started rolling inland. That's why we got in on the action as well. And at this hour, it all continues moving northbound. It also, not only the sea breeze, but also we have right about here, you can see this circulation going round and round. That is the area of low pressure aloft, spinning around, that's helping to enhance this rain activity and of course pull it up as well. But that is going to be going bye-bye, and right to the north of it, right about here, you can see how there's no rain up there. Well, there's the line, there's a frontal system there with drier air to the north and of course more humid air to the south. And that line is going to move down and clear us up for the next few days. But for the time being, for right now, for those of you traveling out tonight, we got the heaviest stuff up here on the I-10 corridor. And then between Gonzales and Nixon, we had some heavier stuff earlier, but this is all, so we say, moving around on us. We have not had any reports of very heavy rain, which would cause flooding. We haven't had reports of any hail. That's good. And the winds are gusty, but in the 30 to 40 mile an hour range. So these are, shall we say, not severe thunderstorms, but it still could cause a problem. We have a lot of watches and warnings up, as Don was mentioning. First of all, the rivers, the San Antonio, the Guadalupe, the Navidad, and all the way to the Colorado because of all that rain going south. And then to the north of us, including DeWitt, Karnes County, on up to Jackson and Gonzales, they're under a aerial flood advisory. In other words, we've had the rain. Watch out for the low water crossings on the county roads and the rivers and the creeks, because they could be, I've always likened floods to like a train, right? Because things are quiet, and then all of a sudden this wall of water comes through, and then it decreases. So you may get caught with that train, so just do be cautious. All right, so here's the line I was telling you about. That is a stationary front. It's going to actually drift through our area overnight, or actually tomorrow afternoon. And when it does, it's really going to shut down the rain opportunity because of the drier air coming in, which is fine. We need a good couple of days of clear weather. And as you can see, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are looking pretty good at this point in time. Tonight, of course, the thunder showers will be rolling around. There may be some early in the morning with even some fog. But once that drier air rolls in, the rain chance goes away. I think we can put the umbrellas away, because for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're going to have partly cloudy, little sunshine here and there, and temperatures pushing up to about the 90-degree mark. Now, right about now, we see a 20% chance on the early part of the start of the week, but that's because all that Gulf moisture will be rolling back up into the area. So do be cautious tonight if you're driving around. Otherwise, tomorrow we should see fewer clouds, more sunshine, warming temperatures, and I think this rainy bout season is about over, and we'll wait for the next one as well. That's your 7-day forecast. We remind you that we do have a QR code. Want you to scan that and put Crossroads Today right on your phone, and we can get to you whenever we need to do. Right now, we'll toss it over to Karina.
Thanks, Mac. And now here's Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. The UHV Jaguars are fighting to keep its national title hopes alive. That's coming up after the break. Howdy Crossroads, the St. Joseph Lady Flyers season comes to an end late last night. The Lady Flyers got off to a rocky start as they allowed a home run in the first inning to go down 3-0. St. Joseph did scratch a run in the third inning, but the Panthers kept adding to the lead, eventually making it 6-1. The Lady Flyers had a big fifth inning, scoring multiple runs, including an Elena St. Jean home run. The Lady Flyers' spectacular season comes to an end, falling to its district rival 9-4. The UHV Jaguars baseball team started off hot yesterday, but the weather delay cooled down the Jaguars. In Game 1, the Jags beat Union 10-7 thanks to a great 7th inning where UHV scored 6 runs to essentially end the game. The Jags were supposed to play number 8 ranked William Carey at 5:40 right after the Ave Marie and Texas Wesleyan game, but weather would have other plans. Rain and lightning delayed the game and pushed the game all the way back to 9:45 at night, which is 4 hours later than what it should have been. The Jaguars go on to lose its second game in dominant fashion to William Carey 7-0, and the Jags are looking to bounce back. And if you look at this screen, it's nothing, it's blank, because the game went into another rain delay tonight. We'll have more updates later tonight at 10. UHV boys golf team is also competing at the NAIA Men's Golf Championships in Mesa, Arizona. 29 teams are competing in the tournament, and today is day 1. Currently, the Jags sit in 26th place after round 1. The top 3 finishers for UHV are Will Patton, who shot 1 under 71, Jacob Flores 3 over 75, and Carson Kaler 4 over 76. And as a team, they shot 10 over par. And it's a big night for the NBA for multiple reasons, and it starts with the lottery. This is one of the most anticipated lotteries since 2003, when LeBron James was drafted number 1 overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers. The number 1 pick is expected to be Victor Wembanyama on your screen there, who is a 7'4" tall talent. The 3 teams with the highest odds to win the number 1 overall pick are the Detroit Pistons, the Houston Rockets, and San Antonio Spurs, which all have a 14% chance. The Dallas Mavericks sit with a 3% chance. Also later tonight, the Los Angeles Lakers take on the Denver Nuggets for the Western Conference Finals in Game 1 in Denver. The Lakers are coming off a 6-game series against Golden State, and the Nuggets are also coming off a 6-game series win over the Phoenix Suns. This 2020 Western Conference Finals rematch is tonight at 9 p.m. Now, a scary scene at a youth baseball game over the weekend. A 7-year-old catcher was engulfed by a short-lived dust devil Sunday afternoon at Jacksonville, Florida. Sand and debris spiraled around the young ball player for a few seconds before the 17-year-old umpire rescued him. His dad poured water on him to get the dirt out of his eyes before he would eventually go back into the game. Everybody was okay. Now, this is such a crazy video, but great reaction time by the umpire. And a funny story, my brother and I used to run into those things all the time, and we would come back with scratches and cuts with rocks hitting us. But that's just a day in the life of me as a little kid. But that's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
That was crazy.
Yeah, thanks for that update on your life, Tina.
We'll be back in a moment. A Pennsylvania police officer gets thanks for saving a 3-year-old girl's life.
A Pennsylvania mom says there is no way to repay a local police officer, but Jean Ann Chadwick's trying. Officer Dean Meese has been honored. She's fed the department and has started a social media campaign to let people know her 3-year-old daughter Remy's life was saved by him. Meese answered a 911 call of a little girl choking. Meese got to the house and was able to get the piece of food out of her throat. Officer Meese has children, so this was very close to home for him too. If you know that Heimlich maneuver and know how to get that piece out of your throat or mouth, yes,
It's crucial,
it is life-saving.
Can you imagine an officer just showing up at the last minute trying to figure out and understand and do that maneuver, and that saved her life.
And the young girl was turning, her face was turning different colors.
Oh gosh.
Too. And he was there just at the right time.
Well, he's our little angel for the day.
That's
All
right.
All right, folks, we do have showers around the area right now. So if you're driving around, you're going to run into them. Good news is by tomorrow, we're going to start thinning all this out. In fact, by evening tomorrow, it's going to be very lovely as the winds are going to shift around to the north, and we're going to lose a lot of that humidity. We got sunshine for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday as well, but a slight chance of showers returning by early next week. Don?
All right, thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 Crossroads Today Plus.
That's right, and we hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.